barging and jostling as well a little bit further down the order, but the top two are running away with this. So Villelainen and Henkel Mortens were 1.7 seconds ahead of Markkanen last time around, and Markkanen is leading a three-way scrap for third place. So that's himself, Shiblak, Moransky as well, Andersson in sixth place. Then it's Pullinger, Tajinski, Dionysis Liveris in ninth place, with Schurl, who started 11th, now rounding out the top 10. Andreasen now in 11th place, well, ahead of Wisnicki, so there's been a few changes up the order as we go along. So Villelainen continues to lead ahead of Martin Henkel Mortens. And we still have about 7 minutes to go here. Just a brief announcement. Can competitor number 244, that's Zombor Kovac from Hungary, can you make your way to the stewards? That's the number 244. Zombor Kovac from Hungary, can you make your way to the stewards immediately, please? Thank you. Meanwhile, back in the action here for the final heat, qualifying heat of round one of the 2018 Rotax Max Euro Trophy. It is still game on between Ville Villelainen and Martin Henkel Mortens. And it looks like Villelainen has pulled a gap, nearly half a second. And they've dropped Markkanen to the tune of almost 2 seconds over that last lap alone, or over the last 2 or 3 laps. A little bit further down the order. So you've got Markkanen, Shiblak, Moransky. Pullinger is in sixth place with Andersson and Schurl, Andreasen and Wisnicki rounding out the top 10. But there is a real big gaggle of karts from around 7th place, which is being led by Andersson. So that's going to be very interesting to see how that develops over the next 5 3/4 minutes, plus an additional lap here. So leaders now coming through the final couple of corners. So it's still Villelainen from Finland leading the way in the number 414, with Martin Henkel Mortens in the 424, hot on his heels. Gap now exactly half a second. Markkanen in third place, still has kept that gap pretty consistent, I must say. And the top three are doing sub 55 second laps. And they're actually around 0.8 of a second off of initial top tier qualifying pace, which we've seen from Martin Henkel Mortens. He did a 54.166 earlier on today. So we still have time left to go in this race. Fastest lap is Barry Pullinger in the 407, in 6th at the moment. And isn't that far adrift from Moransky in 5th place. The duo are separated last time around by about a second. So Villelainen still is leading with about 4.5 minutes plus an additional lap. Markkanen having a bit of a lonely race now in third place. Shiblak and Moransky and Pullinger are not that far apart, if I'm completely honest. A little bit further down the order, you still got quite a few drivers now. Tensha is now in 21st. Jana Stier is now in 20th. So having started in the mid-pack, it looks like the pair did come to blows, and unfortunately, the pair of them, they both ended up on the outside of turns 2 and 3. So leaders now coming down into turn number 9. Villelainen, Henkel Mortens. The gap, I think, is probably sort of stabilised between the pair, maybe. But I need to see how Markkanen is going to respond to this, because Shiblak is a further 1.1 seconds behind. And the gap is slightly increasing. It's just over 2 seconds between Henkel Mortens in second and Markkanen in third. Meanwhile, with the train being led by Andersson in the 428, this is for position, this is 10th. You've got Livris Tajinski, Hatsi Stefanis, who had a disaster in his first qualifying heat, and Adams in the treble 5. So that's going to be a really exciting battle to watch as the timer ticks down. We're under the 3-minute mark now left to go in this race. So leaders now come through to the final couple of corners, as does Markkanen. Shiblak now leads Moransky and Pullinger, who goes up the inside. Did he make the move? Yes, he did. Nice clean overtake from Barry Pullinger. Now goes up into 5th position ahead of Moransky. So that was very clean as well. I knew he was catching, and it was only a matter of time. Just behind those two, we've got Scholl, Andreasen and Wisnicki. And that is the battle from 7th to 9th. And a little bit further down the order, it looks like, I'm wondering if there's a few changes for position. So the likes of Anderson, Tuzinski, Hatzi, Stefanis, Liveris is in there as well. Adams, Piert might even factor in there. And Piert started dead last, let's not forget. So just under the 2-minute mark remaining in this final qualifying heat of the day. So Villelainen has now got a gap of over 8.5 tenths of a second on Martin Henkel Mortens. Markkanen has closed the gap a little, down to about 1.7 seconds. Shiblak is a further 2 seconds adrift. Bullinger actually has gone really quickly and has gone nearly over 3 tenths of a second quicker than the number 422. So Barry Pullinger could be in line to maybe capitalise and get a shot at 4th place. Best lap at the moment is the number 465 and Markkanen 54.652. Meanwhile, the lead has sort of stabilised as further down the order as they're starting to now come around turn 10. And Pullinger has got past. Pullinger has got past Shiblak for 4th place. Nevertheless, the battle is still on between these two. I'm going to keep a close eye on that as we've got 44 seconds plus an additional lap to go. So Pullinger has done a really great job. Started 13th. Now up into 4th place with some great hard-charging, full throttle work behind the wheel of that kart. The number 407, having done great guns. Starting 13th, now 4th. Shiblak started on the front row, now is 5th behind the Brit. So we have about 7 or so seconds. It's counting down on the stop clock. So there we go. The final lap board is being prepared. And it's 1 lap to go for Villelainen with Henkel Mortens. Again, 8 tenths of a second behind. Then it's Markkanen in 3rd. No, Pullinger's in 3rd. Pullinger's in 3rd. My goodness. Where did that one come from? I missed that one completely. So there we go. Pullinger and Andreasen. Well, hang on. Markkanen. Where has Markkanen gone? Be interesting to find. Now, Markkanen has actually dropped, so I think he's no longer taking any part in this race. So, checkered flag is being prepared as we speak to conclude the day's action for the first day of the 2018 Rotax Max Euro Trophy season here in Belgium. And around the final corner comes Finland's Villelainen to take the checkered flag and win heat number 3, Groups A and C. Martin Henkel Mortens has to be pretty satisfied with that one. Finished his first heat in the lead and took also 2nd place just now. Then it was Barry Pullinger from 13th to 3rd place. Rupe Markkanen unfortunately did not complete the running a couple of laps down. Shiblak was in 4th. So let's run through the finishing order for the final qualifying heat of the day here at the first round of the 2018 Rotax Max Euro Trophy here in Belgium. So taking the win by just under 8 tenths of a second, it was Villelainen from Finland ahead of Martin Henkel Mortens by just under 8 tenths of a second. Great job by Barry Pullinger from the UK from 13th to 3rd. Zander Shiblak under Buvin Power was 4th ahead of Slavomir Moransky. Konstantin Scholl was in 6th ahead of Lasse Andersson. Wisnicki, Hatzi Stefanis, Kluzinski rounded out the top 10, with Rupe Markkanen unfortunately having to retire with 2 laps left to go. Well, I have to say, it's been an exciting day 1